G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode. So this week I'm going to get that ladder installed in the sail locker. I don't want to do the generator shelving just yet because I want to get that generator back from the workshop who's going to be doing the rewinding and make sure that that works 100% before I make a bracket to suit that specific generator. I might have to go to my backup generator and get that running. So we'll have a look at some other jobs. So I've got some holes to drill on the deck for the hatches. So we'll just try and get a couple of little things ticked off this week. Well, it's a bit hard to film in there because it's such a cramped spot. So I basically just got the job done, and you can probably see, but it's a bit dark in there, that the ladder is now all in. All the welds are ground up nicely. That's basically ready for painting. Another job done, let's go find another one. Alright, here in the anchor locker, it's probably a bit echoey. I've got these bits just resting up here for now. I'm thinking we've got a fair bit of space here, about a metre drop for the anchor chain to start pulling up. I need to put a guide in for the chain. However, I don't want to go all the way to the bottom. We could, that would work. It gives us probably 2 metre drop for the chain to pull up down here. But I do want to use under here for some storage. It's not a lot of room in here, so see size, I don't know, it's not that big. So I'm hoping this area up here will be enough for about 50 to 60, maybe even 70 metres of chain. Probably only going to use about 50 metres around here. And then we can put some liners on the wall. I don't want the anchor chain to rub against the hull, take the paint off, and then I start corroding from the inside out. That's horrible. So what we're going to do, got a whole bunch of these offcuts. So we're going to weld these to the hull, various locations around, and then probably go this way. That way we'll drill holes in them, and then we could put a plate, like a double hull on there. We might make them out of fiberglass to keep the weight down in here. We'll put a wear plate across that hull, a bit of one on the forward side, and we'll put a wear plate here. Then we're going to put a fiberglass bottom, and then also one coming up this way, probably only halfway, because we want to be able to get our hands in there, and if the chain gets caught up, we need to be able to unwind it. So we need access into it. So yeah, just wear plates on the sides. So we're going to weld the base in, weld these little tabs in, drill some holes, and then fix some wear plates on the sides. Obviously they'll have rubber on it and all that sort of stuff. But that is the plan anyway. So I'm going to start cutting some steel up. start getting some stuff all ready for welding, and then we'll probably come back and weld them all in place. Well, it's going to be too cramped in there to film and weld at the same time, so I'm just going to get geared up and head down in there and show you when I'm done. Alright, let's go down and see what we've done with the anchor. Alright, we've got 2 cross braces welded onto the stringer here. So not only is that giving a lot of structural support on the inside of the boat here, it's going to be able to hold a lot of weight. So it's going to be nice and strong. We've put these standoff pieces. I'm going to drill some holes in them when we get the plate lining in here. So we can install a plate along that side of the hull, plate along there, and then we're going to build a box that is encapsulating the whole anchor chain, and it pushes in, rests against those bolts. We drill the holes through them, and then we bolt it in place, so it can't come this way, it can't go that way, and obviously it's getting supported by here. This will just be storage underneath, and yeah, the whole chain will pull up in the middle here. So we've got about 1 meter between the top and the bottom, so it could sort of spool a little bit, not roll over itself, but yeah, there's plenty of room for about 50 odd meters of chain. So that's that job done. We're going to go up and I'm going to look at drilling some holes for some hatches that we put in a very long time ago. Alright, so I finished center popping all the holes. I've just got to drill them all out now. I did happen to slip a little bit, and now I got a bit of a cut on my knee. So I may look a bit silly with my pants rolled up, but I don't want the pants to stick in the wound and get all dirty in there. So we'll just let some air get to it and see how good it gets. There's a bit of skin missing, but it'll be all right. So let's drill some holes. Alright, we've got all these holes drilled here. We countersunk them all so that there's no sharp edges on any of the corners. All the holes over both of these little combings. So another job done. Head down here. I did fix this up a little bit. Ground down the welds that were all on the here, they're all risen. So that makes fairing a lot easier for the deck. Already had the holes drilled in, but I did have to weld up these corners because when I first ordered this plate, they just cut it square and they needed to be radiused so that the gasket can seal in the corner there. So I did that off camera, so that's all done. We've got the anchor locker down in there all done. So what I might do is just run through. I'll climb down in the locker there and then we'll just do a quick walkthrough and just see how much we've got left to do before we get the blast and painting done. So let's have a look. Alright, so this is the main area that we've got to do the work in, which is the sail locker. So we've basically done all here before blast and paint. We've got all the little bits welded on. That all had to be welded. So just got to fit a box in there, but we'll do that after blast and paint. So we've got these holes which we'll get to next week. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. Just a couple of little holes there that we've got to get done. We're going to put some of these bars into those holes. And then we'll weld another bit of support in. In this corner we'll be putting a generator bracket in to put a little generator in the corner. And above that we'll put a bigger fuel tank. They only come with a 20 litre fuel tank. I want at least 50 litres of fuel. And there's enough room to put a sail bag down in the bottom here. In this corner we're going to have the poo tank. For that, on the other side of this bulkhead we've got another head. So the head will need to put the grey water into the tank, the black water. And I want to put a little bench in here with a vise, so if I need to do some repairs underway, we can like have a little bench vise and we can just do a little bit of repair work a little bit easier in here. Other than that, we'll just be doing storage. Back here behind this ladder, I'm thinking about putting a whole bunch of hooks on this wall. I'll weld them on and they'll be for storing, we'll store all the ropes and stuff, all the spare ropes that we need to have access to in case we want to tie up a dock or put a spring line in or just anything. You always want to keep a couple of spare ropes on board, so we'll have a whole series of ropes ready to be grabbed all behind this ladder. So I've got a little bit more work to do in here. We'll try and get to that next fortnight. So I may not get it all done, but we'll see how we go. So that's most of the work done in here. Let's have a look to see what else we got. Don't have much work to do out here. So got a little job to do out at the back here. Got these plates on the end and one over there. They are put on for a dinghy davit system, so I need to weld on a stainless steel block onto that plate so that when I do build the dinghy davits over the top, that we don't need to weld them on then, and whatever I weld on now is going to burn underneath all the paint off. So I need to weld the block on before we blast the paint on the inside, so I'm not damaging the paint later. And then later on I could build onto that block and then do the dinghy davits later. But for now we need to get the starting point of that dinghy davit system started here, yeah, just so we don't burn the paint. So let's head in. So I'm happy with this room. There's no more work to be done. We don't have to do any more work in the aft head. That's all good. This room, don't think I've got any more work to do in here. So what I may end up doing, that's the machinery space in there. I need to have some brackets welded up to hold the RO, the reverse osmosis unit, to make the water for the boat. That needs to go in there. Underneath here I need to make a mount for the 2 electric motors that are going in underneath. So we'll make that mount. Other than that, everything else is basically done as in hot works for the boat in this room. I don't think anything else has to happen in this room. We do need to put one more support in here, but I'm just worried I want to put another fridge underneath this bed, just to one side. And I need to put another support in where that fridge would end. So I need to measure that up and just finalise that one piece. I've got the piece sitting just down there. I've got that piece waiting to go in. I just haven't decided what fridge we're going to put in here yet, so that needs to be done. That's just a 30-minute job. Going in here, we've done the door frame. I do need to cut this little section out. So that's one little job that needs to be finished. I've just got those 2 holes which I showed you from the other side, and I've got that piece sticking through there now. So we'll pull that all the way through and then weld that all the way around, and we'll do that on both sides, and that'll just give it a little bit more support. So we've got another stringer to go in there each side. Other than that, that's the last thing to go in here. I could put a bar across here for the bench top, but I could also just do that with wood. It's no big deal. A toilet is going in that corner, but I'll probably build the step up for that toilet to be out of timber as well, so we don't need to do any hot works there. So those are basically the last jobs that I need to do before I do the blast and paint on the inside of the boat. So there's not a lot left. So we've got what, 1.5 weeks left to the end of the year. So maybe we'll try and get it all done. One of the other jobs I've got to do is cut holes for electrical conduit to run through the boat. That is a half-a-day job, so we'll probably have to get that done as well. So I do have a bit of time off over Christmas. I'm hoping to plough through some of those jobs, and hopefully in the new year we will start blast and painting, but we'll see how far we go with that. It's a pretty optimistic, but you know, get a few big days at the boat and it might just happen. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed this week's episode. Hopefully I haven't bored you too much. That's what we got to look forward to, and then we can start having a pretty boat. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, if I can achieve that in the next 1.5 weeks. And if not, let me know how long you think it's going to take. So hopefully everyone sticks on till next fortnight and see how far we get. Thanks guys.